Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Cured Collective podcast. If you tuned in last week, this week will be similar in that I am answering a short but important question to help you all understand how to better utilize cannabinoids to share information with others that are interested in using cannabinoids, CBD oil, THC, CBN, any product that you may see from Cured. And as always, it's our duty to answer the questions and make sure you all, the listeners of this podcast and customers of Cured or future customers of Cured, are as fully equipped as possible to make the correct decision to allow yourself to go on this journey to see if any of our supplements are for you. Today, I will be answering the question, what is the difference between cannabis or cannabinoids, maybe CBD or any other cannabinoid, in capsule form, so gel capsule form or two-part capsule form, versus a sublingual oil. So last week I talked about what the difference between tinctures and what a CBD tincture and CBD oil is. If you are curious about that, go back and listen to that podcast. But to summarize, a tincture is typically a vial of liquid that is made using an alcohol as a solvent and then creating the salt, or using alcohol as a solvent and then creating an extract through the alcohol. And that's typically what a tincture is. CBD oil is an oil rich in cannabinoids, can be with several different carrier oils, typically MCT oil, but CBD oil is also found in a glass vial that has a dropper. So today we're going to talk about the difference between capsule form or capsule delivery and sublingual delivery. Cannabinoids are consumed in several ways, even outside of these two forms. The quickest way for onset is through inhalation, but Cure does not sell any products that you would inhale, so we are not going to talk about that. Next is sublingual when it comes to the onset time. So inhalation is almost instant. Sublingual is going to be quicker than taking cannabinoids in capsule form, and it's for the very simple reason that as you put the oil sublingual, it starts to be absorbed into your blood system, and when you take it in capsule form, it goes through your digestive tract and then is processed through your liver. So the onset time for a sublingual under the tongue dropper is typically 10 to 15, maybe 20 minutes. I would say 15 minutes on average. And the onset time for capsule delivery is typically 30 to 45 minutes. Now, it also depends on what you took the capsule with. If you took it on an empty stomach versus took it with just water, or versus taking it with a meal. Sometimes if you take it on an empty stomach, we will hear people take longer to feel the onset. They'll take a capsule and they won't feel anything for a little while, then maybe they'll eat about a half hour later, and within an hour, hour and a half, they start to feel the effects of the capsule. So typically 30 to 45 minutes is the onset time in capsule delivery form versus 15 minutes underneath the tongue. Now, when it comes to an absorption rate or total absorption, when you compare sublingual to taking something in capsule form, you have to understand that when you put the oil underneath your tongue, you are having a quicker onset, but the actual total cannabinoids delivered into the system is not as concentrated as you taking the same amount of cannabinoids and putting them in a capsule and then having them go through the digestive tract and then being processed through the liver. So there's a difference, and the exact cannabinoid absorption I do not have the answers of, but what I will say, the answers to rather, but what I will say is that we historically hear from individuals that when they take a capsule, they find that it's more effective than a sublingual dropper from the overall efficacy or the overall effects more so. And what I mean by that is, although the sublingual dropper may have a quicker onset, people are feeling that if you took the same dose in a capsule form, they felt the effects stronger. And why might that be? Now, it's important to understand that when you take things such as edibles, capsules, you're actually delivering it into the system a different way than, of course, sublingual or inhalation. When you're processing things through the liver, your body actually creates metabolites, and the metabolic byproducts of this process of eating foods, having them being broken down by enzymes, and then being processed through your liver typically makes things less active than the original molecule. So you eat some molecule and it goes through the digestive system, the digestive tract, and the breakdown and metabolic byproducts typically makes that molecule, whatever it is you may be consuming, less effective. This is different or opposite than consuming THC. So when you consume THC, you actually produce 11-hydroxy-THC. So this is a metabolite that is actually more potent than the original compound or molecule of THC that you are getting in an edible or a capsule. So our 30 milligram capsules of full spectrum raw CBD oil do contain small amounts of THC in them. It's a full spectrum extract. The legal limit is 0.3% by weight. Classifies it as a hemp product when it comes to the THC. So there is THC in the capsules, and when it gets consumed in capsule form, you're actually producing this metabolite, which is different than the Delta-9 that you originally consumed in the original product. So it turns into a different byproduct, 11-hydroxy-THC, and it's actually more effective than the original Delta-9 that you consume. So that being understood, your liver is actually making so the delivery is more concentrated first, but then the metabolites or the compounds, the molecules that come from this process in your liver then are more effective or more potent than the original THC. So the difference between taking something sublingual and taking something in capsule form is twofold. First is the onset time, and we talked about the difference being whether you took it with food, didn't take it with food, or held the oil underneath your tongue for long enough, or drank water at the same time when you put the oil in your mouth. Of course, you're going to water it down and you're not going to absorb it because the tongue, underneath the tongue, is easier to absorb straight into the blood system. But once you just swallow it, if it's just in oil form right away, the delivery into your system is going to be much less than taking it in capsule form. So that's the difference between capsules and sublingual oil. I hope this helps and hopes allow you to be more educated when you go to reach for any of our cured nutrition products, or teach or educate anybody around you that is interested in taking the journey on the future of supplementation, as I like to say. So that's it for today. Hope you all enjoyed this short podcast. Hope it was helpful. If so, please share it with somebody you are close with, friends, family members, anybody you believe could be benefited from this podcast, and we will catch you on the next episode. Thank you, everybody.